And if I did that dumb thing where I had a clip at the start of the video, it'd be like, in Wagon World, it is illegal to have mirrors on your vehicles. So that's why I'm destroying all of the mirrors that I see. Or maybe there's another reason. Find out for sure by watching this video. Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod called the Roth Alpha, and we're going to start with the base version of the vehicle, but there are a lot of different base versions and they're a little bit mixed up in the order here. So the base version is the 2.0 MT, and it's available as a wagon or a sedan with automatic or manual transmission, but they're not what you'd expect them to be. You think base model, all of these, right? But no, base model, base model, base model, base model. Yeah, they're just a little bit out of order, but out of all the base models, which was the best? The manual wagon. And as we take a look at this car, I want you guys to leave a comment saying, what vehicle do you think this is inspired by? Because there is a vehicle that comes to mind for me personally, but I'm not quite sure on that, so I'd love to see what car you guys think this was inspired by compared to what I think. One nice thing about this version, though, is it does have a monstrous roof rack. Look at how much stuff we could put in that thing. Plus, it's a wagon. We could move house with this car. That's the practicality of a wagon. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of the vehicle. We have a lot of functionality you like to see. There's a light for the parking brake. We can turn on the headlights, which lights up the gauges. There's a light for the blinker, but you can only see it going to the left because going to the right, it is covered up by the steering wheel almost at all times. And then the steering wheel, of course, it does work. And then we got pedals down there that work as well. And then for the actual looks of the interior, there's nothing super fancy going on. Since this is supposed to be a car from the 90s, I would say it has a premium interior from back then, but there's nothing spectacular about it that stands out nowadays. Now it just looks like a more ordinary low-end interior. And overall, it fits perfectly with the style of vehicle that this is. So let's go ahead and drive it around a little bit. Now, as I said, this is the 2.0 MT. That means it is a 2-liter gasoline engine, and it only makes 135 foot-pounds of torque and 135 horsepower, but it feels faster than that, even though it's a pretty large vehicle. As you see, we're already driving past highway speeds up to 80 miles per hour, and now we got a little bit of downhill that'll help us accelerate even more. And we are done accelerating now. We're gonna just crash into the dirt. Nice impact, and then we're spinning a bit. Can we land on our wheels? Oh yeah! Unfortunately, that's not going to do anything because the rear drive shaft is broken. Oh, and for some reason, it looks like a minivan now. I think it's because the front was scrunched in a bit, so it has that kind of scrunched down front you would see on the minivans from that time period. That's funny. Overall, though, not that much damage. So let's go ahead and reset it and take a look at the wagon's cousin, the 2.0 MT Sedan. And you can see the style of the sedan is very, very similar to the wagon. You basically just chop off the wagon part and put a trunk there, and then you get the sedan version. As for performance, it's basically identical. I don't notice any significant difference between the two. Although technically, the sedan should be faster because it's a couple 100 pounds lighter. It's just not enough to notice in regular driving. This, however, is not regular driving. This is crushing the roof and getting stuck on a rock just a little bit. Now we're going to slowly slide down the hill. Very slowly. Alright, well, obviously it's not going to roll itself onto its wheels, so I got to do that myself. So let's go ahead and grab the corner and flip onto your wheels. Perfect, and wow, that jump really did a number on this thing. The roof has been completely mangled. Let's see what it looks like if we do the exact same thing with the wagon. It might fly a little bit differently in the air with the completely different aerodynamic profile, so I don't know if we'll land on the roof just like we did with the sedan, but let's find out. Oh, look at this. It's tipping just like the sedan and right onto the roof. So it flew the same, but it crashed a little bit differently. And again, we have a broken rear drive shaft, so we're not going to be able to drive, but it is easier to take a look at the damage here. And after that impact, really now, you don't even know which was the sedan and which was the wagon, because either way, both of them got crushed really, really well. So I'll bring this guy back up to the road, and then let's go ahead and take a look at the next option. So the next one we're going to be taking a look at is the 2.2 DIT. So this one, kind of interestingly, is only available in manual. And this vehicle is almost the same as the one we were just driving. The only real difference is the engine. So in this one, it has a 2.2 liter VIN diesel engine. And with this one, it makes a lot more torque. It has 165 foot-pounds of torque, but only 110 horsepower. So which one is faster? The gasoline version. Unless you're towing a trailer or something like that, the gasoline version is definitely going to be the better one for driving. Anyways, we're up to a decent speed, so now we just need to find a perfect place to crash. And right on the edge of the bridge looks perfect. Oh, wow. I thought we were going to get popped into the air a little bit. I did not expect it to get grabbed and mangled like that. That was a little bit unexpected, but all right, that works. Let's go ahead and just get it back onto the road. And let's go ahead and take a look at a version that's not a base model, because technically both of those are probably base models. One's just the base diesel, the other's the base gasoline. Now we're going to go to the faster diesel version, which is the 2.5 DIT. And another interesting thing about this one is it's only available in automatic, but you can get it in sedan or wagon. With this one, you get a 2.5 liter diesel engine, and it gives you 200 foot-pounds of torque and 130 horsepower. So that is less horsepower than the very first gasoline version we drove, but the extra torque more than makes up for this. This one is definitely faster than the gasoline we started, and 1000% sure it's faster than the previous diesel one. And for a diesel vehicle, it's surprisingly pleasant to drive. Because as an American, the idea of a diesel that actually drives good is complete nonsense. Honestly, the only sporty car I can really think of that has a diesel engine is some of those Alpinas. I can't think of anything else, but I like the way this thing drives. There's nothing crazy about the suspension. It's rear-wheel drive, and it has just enough power for us to be able to go at decent speeds, even going up and down the hills over here. It really is a nice vehicle, but as with all vehicles in this game, it must be wrecked. And I think the perfect place to wreck it is coming up in just a second, because we can chuck it off of a cliff in 3, 2, 1, bye-bye. Smashing the roof again. I really like smashing the roof for these guys for some reason. Yep, just another smash in the roof. Don't know why that is, but I am the master of smashing roofs. So anyways, here's a look at the damage here. You can see with it being crushed, the roof again, we can't exactly tell that that was a wagon. It could have easily been a sedan. But I like wagons, so I mostly stick to the wagons as you've seen so far. Don't worry, we will use a sedan for the next one once we get back up to the road. And this sedan will be gasoline powered. It's going to be the 2.5 HT6 V6. And on this one, it's only available as a manual. And this engine makes about 170 foot-pounds of torque and about 170 horsepower. So out of all of the stock versions of the vehicle, this one would be the top of the line one with the best performing engine. Yes, it does have less torque than the diesel, but in this situation, the extra horsepower makes up for that. Also, if you get this one in the wagon version, you get an additional spoiler, which we'll be taking a look at in a second. But first, we must wreck the sedan, because I promised I would use the sedan a little bit more, even though it does not look nearly as cool as the wagon. So let's say, oh no, I messed up my churn terribly. Not the roof this time. See, I don't always crush the roof, just most of the time. This time we just crushed the underside of the vehicle, which is the opposite of the roof, actually. It really did land in an awkward location. We got to pull this thing out so you can see what does it look like after all of that. So come here, you. And then flip. Perfect. And for jumping off of a cliff like that, surprisingly little damage. The drivers in there, they'd probably have some bruises, but I don't think they'd be that badly beat up as long as they wore their seatbelts. All right. Back up to the road you go, and let's take a look at the wagon. So let's get that wagon out here and take a look at that amazing extra spoiler it gets. It's not anything that special, but I have to mention it because it's there. Look at that little spoiler. It's so sporty now. I could go around these corners at 60 miles per hour and I don't even have to slow down thanks to all this extra downforce. Check this out. I was wrong. It does not change the handling characteristics of the vehicle much at all. We will still drive off of the edge if we try to do it at 60 miles per hour. And that one, even though we did basically the same thing, wow, did it get a lot more damaged. It's a little bit covered up by the bushes, so let's try to pull it out some. And there we go. Look at the damage on that. Mangled all over the place, and there's still some bushes in the way, but you get to see 99% of the damage, so that's good enough for me. And that covers all of the production versions of the vehicle. Now we're going to be focusing on the customized versions. But to do that, we're going to swap up maps real quickly and head over to East Coast, USA. And the first customized version we're going to be taking a look at is the Sjb Custom. And we're going to do one small change to this vehicle. We're going to make it a brown color. So we'll get the beige and then we'll darken it a bit. And there we go. We got a nice brown color. So what is this? This is a 2.5 liter diesel manual rear wheel drive wagon. This is every car enthusiast's dream. It also has a welded differential, so it makes it really easy to do skids like this. Look at how effortless that was. And then to go with that, it also has a sports suspension, which has now been ruined by that idiot crashing into me. Oh, and by the way, this is Wagon World, a world where everybody drives wagons. And if I did that dumb thing where I had a clip at the start of the video, it'd be like, in Wagon World, it is illegal to have mirrors on your vehicles. So that's why I'm destroying all of the mirrors that I see. Or maybe there's another reason. Find out for sure by watching this video. For real though, can we just take a second to admire the fact that I actually pulled off 3 of those in a row? I thought for sure I was gonna crash eventually, but it just kept working. I got so impressed by that, I didn't even care that I crashed afterwards. And that crash actually has definitely messed up my suspension a decent bit. We could keep driving and keep crashing into people, and oh no! Now it's really messed up. Okay. Hello, other car. I can't really turn, so I'm just gonna smash into you. Now let's back up enough so we can go ahead and take a look at the next configuration. Oh my goodness, I am blocked in here. So the next customized version we're going to be taking a look at is the Wobble Personal. So let's go ahead and get out of all this traffic before we talk about this vehicle. And look at this guy. He's trying to get out of traffic, but I'm the one who does that. Hey, you know what? That car up ahead, he should have been in the wreck with me. I'm going to take him out right quick and then we'll talk about this car. So watch this. Boop! Out of the way, you fool. Just the tiniest bump. I want to do that again because that was kind of fun. All right, here's another car. Bump him. That kind of worked, but not exactly. We're going into the trees. The wagon's just too long. I can't drive a vehicle this long. That's the only excuse I got. Anyways, the Wobble Custom is just a slightly modified version that's made to look like the author's real-life vehicle. At least, I think that's what it is. So it has the 2-liter gasoline engine plus a manual transmission, and that's really all there is to it. But the most important thing probably is, in fact, the color, because I'm assuming his car or her car is the same color as this. So there's a nice side impact, and I think it did a lot more damage to me than it did to them. Yeah, look at their car. It has some damage, sure, but mine got bashed. We can keep on driving, though, so let's go ahead and see if we can do another crash just like that and get it to the other side of the vehicle so we can have a nice, symmetrical vehicle like so. All right, that's pretty good. Although it doesn't look quite as damaged, does it? Yeah, the left side is better off, so we can go ahead and try to do another impact. I just got to get up to speed, and once we're up to speed, which is about right now, we look for a car to crash into. There's a good one, and slide. Perfect. All right, let's take a look at this thing. It's kind of in the shadow, so let's pull it back a bit. All right. That's pretty symmetrical. Okay, this vehicle is fully customized up. Yep. WhyBeAre customizing a vehicle is just crashing it 3 times in a row. Hey, you won't see another vehicle exactly like this one, especially after I did that too. Anyways, there's a quick look at the damage, but the car is dead. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next configuration. And this one is going to be the Custom V6, which is available in sedan or wagon. But this is Wagon World. If I drove a sedan in Wagon World, all hell would break loose. We can't do something like that, so we must drive the wagon. That, and again, I just like wagons way better than sedans. Who doesn't? So with the Custom, it appears to be based on the 2.5 HT6, that is the fastest gasoline-powered edition. And then it has an LSD and an upgraded suspension, so it handles better. Out of all of the vehicles here, I think this one does have the best handling. Although technically the sedan probably handles better. I don't care. We're going to crash up the dirt. Oh, off of their roof. That was interesting. All right, before we take a look at my damage, hold on a second. I want to take a look at the car I just wrecked. There they are. They're a little bit in the shadows, and I actually did not do that much damage to them. Let's go ahead and just yank them along so you can take a better look at their car. Come here, you. Whoop! That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. In fact, that's good. I'll let traffic keep driving. There we go. So taking a quick look at him. Stop driving. Very little damage compared to me over here with my car. Completely wrecked and off of the road, actually. We ain't even on the road anymore. So let's go ahead and reset this, and then we'll take a look at the next configuration. This one is the Car Killer Custom. And on the Car Killer Custom, we got a 2.5 liter gasoline engine, so that's the best stock engine we got. We got an LSD, sports suspension, and a tow hitch. So if you put a tow hitch on a vehicle, we gotta test it out, right? I think so. Even that guy who crashed into me says, yeah, you need a tow hitch. And it's totally his fault for not staying out of my lane. Both lanes are mine. Anyways, we're going to park it here, and we're going to get a nice trailer to attach. So we're going to do this the European style, and we're going to tow a travel trailer with a wagon. What is more European than this? I don't really know. So let's go ahead and attach it up. So this trailer isn't that heavy. It only weighs like 2,500 pounds. So I think it should be possible to tow it with the Roth Alpha, even though none of the production versions have a trailer hitch. You know what? I want a different color. I haven't seen enough of the yellow car driving around, so I'm going to make me be the yellow car. Perfect. And I was not paying attention all the way I was driving, so get out the way, you fool. I am towing a trailer because my family is going to go on a nice camping trip. I am not intentionally trying to flip over the trailer by swerving all over the road. I lied. I am trying to flip it over. Oh, but it didn't actually flip. It's actually doing a really good job of not flipping over. That kind of makes me annoyed. I will find a way to flip the trailer over though. Just you watch. You just got to get a little bit of speed and then whip it. Yes, use the other car to tip it. And now I have accomplished my goal. Why was that my goal? I don't really know. So let's try to do this properly and actually drive with the trailer attached, since my car is finally the correct color. But based on that small amount of driving we just did, it does look like driving it with a wagon is more difficult than a pickup truck, but it's perfectly doable if you drive like a normal person and not a complete lunatic. Another thing that kind of sucks is I actually can't see my car. So I don't even know what angle my car is at. That makes it really weird to drive. Now that I can actually see my car, I know what's going on. The only problem is I can't see what's ahead of me if I look at my car. I gotta have like just a little piece of the car sticking out so I can still see what's ahead of me, but also still see the car. Oh man, this trailer wobbles so much more than if I had like a pickup truck. It is not easy, especially with the way I drive. If you're driving like a normal person, you'd be fine doing this. But I'm going 40 miles per hour, drifting around corners, overtaking dudes, which is not the ideal strategy, but sometimes it works out great. That is peak wagon towing trailer form right there. You cannot get any better than that. And honestly, since I've done it that good, let's just go ahead and crash my trailer. Oh, wow, you really can lose it fast at speeds. I did not know it was going to spin out that fast and that soon. I was trying to just get it a little unstable, and before I knew it, we were going into the trees. Wow. Well, we could keep on driving, though, so let's do that and try to crash it some more. Whoa. Oh, man, this is really bad. When the car is pulling to the side and you're carrying a trailer, no fun. It is pulling surprisingly hard to the left. So you know what? If I'm going to crash, we got to make it worth it. Get both of them. Heck yeah. And again, I'm just looking at the trailer. I'm not even looking at the car. But we are a little stuck here, so I think that's enough messing around with the Car Killer Custom. Let's go to the next edition, which is called the Drift Beater. Oh my goodness. Everybody, get out of my way. Okay, apparently I am still towing the trailer somehow. There we go. That's okay. This is the Drift Beater after all. This thing comes damaged by default. So it's missing the fender on the front, the light, the tail lights. Usually the back is there, but I did manage to lose that. And is it driving straight at least? Yes. So in addition to that, it does have a stripped down interior. So you see there's just one seat in there. There's nothing on the doors. And then it has a sports suspension setup with a welded differential. So let's go ahead and try to drift between traffic. Here we go. Drift. Recover. Yes. That's like all the drift you can do in between traffic before you crash into them. And it actually worked amazingly. Well, now that I've showed that off, let's go ahead and do a little crashing. Haha! Yours is a Drift Beater too now. That's actually going to be the sole goal of the Drift Beater now. We're going to make every other car here also a Drift Beater. At least the ones I can hit at reasonable speeds. I'm not going to worry about all of them, but just the ones I can do. Oh, what is going on? I'm doing donuts and driving forward at the same time. My steering is shot. Do you want to be a Drift Beater, red one? Come back here. I will make you a Drift Beater. You can't escape from me. I will reset the car to make you a Drift Beater. So you can see that's what the tail lights would look like normally when the back end is there, but you have no tail lights. You're a Drift Beater. Nice. Who else wants to be a Drift Beater? You're a Drift Beater. Whoop-bam. All right. that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final version of the vehicle. This one is the stanced version. So on the stanced one, we have the 2-liter engine. This is the low-end engine. And then we have the stanced suspension, which is just really, really bad suspension, basically. And that's been debadged, and it has the spoiler. It actually does, though, legitimately look really sporty. I ain't gonna lie. That looks super sporty, except for those awful wheels. But the suspension is junk. You can see just how much it bounces around as we're driving. Look at this thing. Boom, 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 as it drives. And I'm watching the suspension myself, not paying attention when I'm driving. WhyBeAre, you need to stop looking at the suspension and just pay attention to where you drive. The viewers can look at the suspension, though, as I drive around, and you can see just how bumpy it looks, and it would definitely be bad on my spine if I was actually in this vehicle. That looks awful. Sometimes it looks okay, but most of the time it's just bounce, 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 bounce. But man, when it's sitting still, it has a real nice stance to it. That's what stance vehicles are for, though, right? Also, the handling is kind of garbage, too, because the suspension is garbage. Like, everything about this thing is garbage except the look, so let's crash into some trees. We can't see it, so I'm not even going to bother to look. And we're going to finish everything off with everybody's favorite map. We're going to head over to Leap of Death and do a nice big jump. And for Leap of Death, we must use the ideal version of the vehicle. What is the ideal one? The Sjb Custom in brown, because then you get the perfect car once again, the brown diesel rear-wheel drive manual wagon of every car enthusiast's dreams. So here we go, getting up to a speed of about 55 miles per hour. That's pretty average for a Leap of Death. And now we wait and we let it fall. Hit the brakes, accelerate, whatever we do, we cannot overcome gravity. But ooh, we can do that little flipping maneuver. At least we're not going to land on a roof. We landed on a roof enough at the start of the video, right? So here you go, 100 times slow motion. Really get to see it go crunch. All right, that thing just instantly crunched, and there was no camera shake. A lot of the time you have a camera shake when you do something that fast, so that's nice. And now we just let it continue all the way to the end of Leap of Death. So overall, I think this is a pretty nice mod. It's always nice to have another wagon in the game. In fact, there aren't any wagons in the game except for the ETK 800. Every other wagon is a mod of sorts. It's kind of interesting to think about. You know what that means, right? We need more wagons. And no, the Terriers are not wagons. Although you do notice for Leap of Death, there's a lot of pieces that have spiked out to nowhere. I don't know if that's the suspension, a body part, or what, but it's there. It looks weird. We ignore it because Leap of Death does that. So anyways, until next time, this has been WhyBeAre. And remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by how many people buy this car used, but not new, because they're a real car enthusiast. They don't want to buy a new car. They want to only buy it used from the factory. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time. Also, here's something funny I'm going to tell you right now, okay? So, I want the thumbnail to say brown diesel rear-wheel drive manual wagon, but I also want to be towing the vehicle, and I only towed it with the yellow one. So it's going to say brown with the yellow vehicle, and people are going to be like, that's not brown. And I'm going to say, ah, but I knew that.